When it comes to securing a job in a competitive environment, people with disabilities die a death of 1,000 cuts. They may not be able to get through the application process. They may not interview the way we're used to interviewing. They may not learn the way we're used to teaching. And the unkindest cut, the belief by 99% of us that people with disabilities really can't do the job as well. That hiring a person with a disability is an act of charity. I know this as a parent of an adult child with a disability who surprised me every day with what he was able to accomplish. And I know it as the head of a division of 10,000 people in one of the U.S.'s largest companies. And I came to realize that we were leaving behind a large group of our fellow citizens who can work and who want to work but can't get past these invisible walls that we built around ourselves. And we had to ask ourselves, if we can't do something about this, who can? Who do we say we are? So when it became time to design a new generation of distribution center, we decided that we could manage it in such a way to enable a large group of people with disabilities who had never had a job to be as productive as anybody in the world. And we aimed high. 30% of the workforce would be people with disabilities, something that we had never seen done in a mission-critical site on large scale anywhere in the world. So we started, and we found out that we had to be about a business and not a charity. Because we have shareholders, we have competitors. We only make 3 cents on the dollar. Our net margin is 3%. So if we were going to be successful at this, we couldn't lower the bar. We had to raise the bar because these centers were supposed to be the most efficient in the world. So we were going to have people with disabilities, without disabilities, doing the same jobs, held to the same standards, earning the same pay, side by side. And after we were all done, we found out this was the most productive center in the 100-year history of our company. We studied hundreds of thousands of hours of data, and we found out people with disabilities work and perform as well as people without disabilities, as well or better. They work twice as safe. They have better retention, less absenteeism. And that 30% became 40%. And we discovered a lot of surprises along the way. Here's the secret. One technology we discovered, we call it ATP. Ask the person. For instance, our standard procedure is when you lift a case, it requires 2 hands to do it safely. So if a one-armed person were to apply, we would say they were not qualified. Now we ask them how they would perform that job because they probably have a lifetime of adjusting to things that we take for granted. Or another example, forklift drivers. Could a deaf person drive a forklift? Because that requires that they honk their horns at intersections to warn pedestrians. And how would they hear their horn? So we decided to ask a deaf person, how would you make sure your horn works? First person said, I would put my hand near the horn and touch the button and I'd feel it vibrate. Makes sense. I like the second person's answer. What I would do is I would pull up behind a group of people who are talking. You know where this is going. Hit my horn and see who jumps. Ask the person. But this taught us never to assume what people can or cannot do, and that we had to open the door a little wider and change the way we hire and the way we train and the way we work with people. And we also found a fantastic impact on our culture. Managers will talk about teamwork and commitment they've never seen before, or how they've been changed themselves. Managers will say they've become better listeners, or that they have to treat each person as an individual, something we say we do often but rarely do. And they will say their main job now is to make everybody successful. And let me tell you, as a leader, when you have everybody aligned toward mission and everybody working at making each other successful in achieving it, lightning in a bottle. And as a result of this, we rolled this across all 20 of our centers. And over the last 2 years, across the entire division, 1 out of 3 people have been a person with a disability. And we opened our doors to all the other companies, even our competitors, to come and see for themselves. They let them talk to people. We show them all the information. We teach them everything that we've learned. But only 1 in 10 companies that come ever act on it. Why is that? The status quo is very hard to overcome. Conventional wisdom, the only thing that can be said about conventional wisdom is that it is conventional. This requires innovative thinking, some courage, but it also requires leadership. Many companies have come and launched their own initiatives, like Marks & Spencer in the UK, some international companies like UPS, Procter & Gamble, Colgate, Unilever. And they found the same things that we have found. Great performance, great impact on culture. They didn't have to lower the bar. They just had to open the door a little bit wider. This is an idea whose time has come. What we found out through this process, we serve the shareholders. We serve the needs of the company. We made society better. And if you ask anybody who was engaged in this, this was the best work of our lives. And all it started with was the question, if we can't do something, who can? Tack.
I have so many questions, so little time, and I know you will be outside here if anyone has any questions afterwards. But I just like to ask, because I know you think that Sweden could be one of the front walkers in this.
Well, certainly.
How or why?
Well, the first thing in the United States when somebody decides to do this with an employer that does it, they think they're going to be overwhelmed with candidates. And that's not true at all. It's difficult because that's a part of society that has given up, doesn't really believe that we're serious about this. So it's very fragmented in finding help. And here you have, with Samhall, you have one provider that's lined up to provide all those supports to make you successful. Plus, quite frankly, we in the United States admire Sweden a lot, and we really like Volvos. And I can't wait for that safe one. Is because
2020, yes.
Because you have a culture built around mutual support and community. This is an idea. It has come in the United States, but I think the world leader. Why wouldn't it be Sweden? Why wouldn't it be Sweden with the engagement you have and the support you have around this? I just don't know why it wouldn't happen.
It's a terrific question. But finally, also, how is Austin doing today?
This is good news. One of the companies that came and did this opened up a center of their own about an hour from our house. My son drives an hour and a half each way to work every day, rain, snow. We have a lot of snow in Chicago. And works full-time, makes a living wage. We've never had the opportunity otherwise.
So what you really did was changing the notion of being disabled. Within your facility it doesn't exist, right?
Exactly. Side by side, you can't tell.
Tack så hemskt mycket, och jag vet att Randy kommer finnas här ute om ni vill ställa mer frågor också. En applåd. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.